15 years ago today is when Chris Benoit began the massacre on Green Meadow Lane. On this day 15 years ago, he began his shenanigans by strangling his wife to death with a cord, but not just strangling her to death either, because he also pressed his knee into her back so hard that he broke her spine while he was strangling her to death. Why he did it, nobody will ever know. We all have our theories, but that's really all they are, because he didn't leave it an appropriate suicide note, just a lazy one telling Eddie Guerrero that he was getting ready to peace out of life. And apparently nobody saw that coming. My guess is either that Nancy said she was leaving him and that was just the last of a lot of straws, or actually I can't think of any other reason why he would do that. That was probably the last of a lot of straws, between his career coming to an end, or slowly coming to an end, Eddie being gone, marital problems, all of his friends dropping dead like flies. It was just eventually that dynamite was going to explode. It was only a matter of time. And anybody who watched his interviews, even casually, kind of figured that he was going to hang himself after his career was over regardless, because he loved that business like he loved a child before he killed one. And to the point where it was unhealthy enough that I couldn't see him doing anything after wrestling beyond dying, because he was just too obsessed with it, and he couldn't envision his life without it. The murders couldn't have seen coming, but I didn't work for the company either. I don't know. When they say that they never saw it coming, how do you not see a guy murdering his family and then hanging himself, especially if you've known him for more than 1 or 2 years? Like, I don't know how Chris Jericho and Dean Malenko and Perry Saturn can say, oh, he was this great guy, we never could have seen this coming. You don't just go from being a great guy to murdering your family and then hanging yourself. No, not unless somebody slips you some PCP, and even then it's a stretch. But anyway, after he killed Nancy, he covered her in a cloth or a blanket or something and placed a Bible next to her. You could tell the wheels were already falling off from there. This is where I think he felt like he had no choice but to finish off Daniel and then himself, because he was so selfish and stubborn and full of his own shit that I don't think he could have dealt with the humiliation and the punishment that comes with murdering your wife. I don't think he was able to handle it, and he figured his life was over with anyway, so he might as well just... Anyway, they say a day later he shot his kid up with Xanax and then smothered him. How thoughtful. You at least had the decency to drug him up before you smothered him to death, you fucking prick. And then about a day later, he killed himself on a Bowflex. It was 15 years ago. It's crazy how time flies. I heard an interesting quote somewhere. I think it was Wrestle Talk on YouTube, that Chris Benoit shouldn't be remembered but can't be forgotten. And that's true, because regardless of what you think about what he did during the last 3 days of his life, you can't deny that he was one of the greatest and most influential professional wrestlers in the history of the business. It's just really sad and unfortunate that he ended up taking the Oedipus way out.